We're on? We're live. We have a little bit of an echo. Echo, echo. All right, time being 6:33, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Master Plan Committee for July 26, 2023. This meeting's being held in the third floor training room at 355 East Central Street. Note to residents, all citizens are welcome to attend public boards and committee meetings in person. The meetings will also be live streamed by Franklin TV and shown on Comcast Channel 11 and Verizon Channel 29. Recordings of meetings are available on Franklin TV's Franklin Town Hall TV YouTube channel. And additionally, in an effort to maximize citizen engagement opportunities, citizens will be able to continue to participate remotely via phone or Zoom. The link to access the meeting for tonight's July 26, 2023 meeting is, you click on the link or copy the URL to the browser. Its call-in phone number is 1-929-205-6099 and enter the meeting ID 8296871181 and then press the pound symbol. That number again is phone number is 1-929-205-6099 or enter the meeting ID number 829-6871181 and then press pound. All right, so for tonight's meeting, we have a few things on our agenda. The first thing that we have listed is the community outreach plan. Everybody, just as a reminder, as you were coming in please just grab one copy of each of the documents we have at the front door. There is a copy of the community outreach plan as one of those documents, if you don't mind taking them out. And on that note, I'm going to pass it over to you, Amy, for further discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we've been working with our marketing specialist, Lily, to put together a public outreach plan on the marketing side. So what she's come together, mainly if you go starting kind of on the third page where we put a timeline in for public engagement, for marketing materials, cabling, such as like being a harvest festival, maybe a crop. We probably have subcommittees participate in that. Not every committee may want to go, like that crop is kind of more towards the circulation facilities subcommittee, so they might want to table there. If there's a Delpart cleanup, space committee might want to table at that. So it's just trying to find some of these smaller events that we can get subcommittees to. The Harvest Festival would be for everybody. That's a very large event that we have going on. This is a draft of the tentative marketing plan. Like as we get further along, trying to get some more social media out there. Lily will take care of all the social media, but she is looking for committee members to kind of volunteer to put together a flyer that would come out now. That would like be able to post on the website, be able to put it at the senior center, the library, public buildings around town, just to announce, hey, get involved. We have this committee going on. Here's our website. Here's the scan code. We'd like to hear your feedback. I don't think we've gotten as far, but like in the future, if we're looking to do a survey, that will be another thing that we want to promote and get out there, let everybody know that we're doing a survey as we move along. And then towards the end, if we hold our public hearings, when we have our draft and our final documents, to reach out for that. So first off is kind of everyone reviewing this public outreach document, and if you think you have any changes or anything, my goal at the next meeting is actually to have a complete Excel spreadsheet that will include this along with all the other tasks that involves the master plan, such as when are the goals going to be set up and one of the objectives going to be set up, and other items that go along with the master plan on a month-to-month basis, so that the committee members here know what they kind of need to achieve each month. And so that we will have that at the next meeting, and then if there's any feedback for this master plan, for this community outreach,
We can finalize that as well at the next meeting. I know it just got in front of you tonight, so you guys all need time to review it.
Yes.
But at first, and like I said, if there's any committee volunteers that want to take aim at a flyer, actually after this, we're gonna talk about like mission and vision. Stuff like that can be put on the flyer, and just more of where do they go to find master plan information.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Are you looking for a volunteer?
Hmm?
Are you looking for somebody to volunteer? Okay, I'll raise my hand.
Well, hold on one
I was
second.
like-
Hold on one second.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to the chair.
Okay.
Right. The first thing I want to bring up, just so everyone understands, our next full meeting is going to be August 23rd, so ideally for any feedback on this document that Amy has handed out to us tonight, if you do have anything that you would like changed, added, revised, edited, so on and so forth, again, we like to kind of keep everything going through Amy. So we're not necessarily going to allow people to have access to the document through Google in order to edit it themselves. If you have feedback and relative information you'd like to have changed, forward that information to Amy in the form of an email or an attachment of your edits, and she can make the appropriate edits on her end. As far as a date's concerned, in lieu of being able to get this information out onto the agenda in an efficient amount of time, we're gonna have to set a deadline for any potential changes, and I'm gonna set that date for August 16th. That's the Wednesday prior to the next meeting. So if you have any adjustments or any edits or anything you'd like to make in regards to this particular document, ideally I'd like to have that into Amy by the 16th next month. Sound fair? Yes.
Does that include to this, or
No.
is this something that's set in stone?
Nope, that is not set in stone.
Okay.
That is actually something we're very excited about, and it's one of our topics that we can talk about tonight, because it's kind of an ongoing thing as part of a branding part, but the branding part of it all, it doesn't have to be solidified probably until the fall, where we start actually putting out the brochures and start putting out
Yeah.
the public outreach portion of it.
Okay.
But this is definitely open for discussion. I know Megan brought it up once before, that there is a town in Tennessee called Franklin, Tennessee, who already has a similar one, hey Janelle, called Envision Franklin. But, you know, we're not Tennessee, we're Franklin.
We're not Tennessee, but it is the first thing that comes up when you Google it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like
So
three
it hits,
different
it
links
hits the
already.
meta file first?
Yeah, it
Yes.
does. So I think it will get confusing for both our and their residents if we're calling it the same exact thing for a very similar program. Just from our experience, you know, as Franklin area moms, we often get input from Franklin, Tennessee, and get members wanting to
Do
join,
ya?
not realizing that we're in
Two
Massachusetts.
completely different
Yeah.
things, yeah,
Mhm.
all right. So we're gonna touch base a little further on the agenda in regards to the Envision Franklin information. However, I do wanna pass it over to Mel, who had a question, but before I do that, is everyone okay with that due date of
August 16th.
August 16th?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And again, just so everyone's clear, that's solely just for updates and information in regards to this document that Amy passed out tonight. And Amy, you said, just as a point of clarification, the next meeting you're going to have this was the project schedule that you gave me before, but it's actually going to be an Excel spreadsheet showing projected dates and timelines.
Yeah.
Is that information in collaboration with Beta, who's
Yeah,
gonna
so,
help?
so what we're doing with the spreadsheet, we're actually kind of breaking it out by committee. So we have a section for Beta and Barrett Group of what they're gonna be doing. We have a section for the master plan committee, the subcommittees, and then town staff.
Yeah,
So that's how we're gonna break it all out.
perfect. Okay, I'm sorry, Mel, go ahead.
Oh, it's quite all right. It's like, I jumped the gun, I think. Can I ask Amy a question about this information on the, so it will be in the drive,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then we can find it in the main drive. I've already been to the subgroup drive folders, but there's gonna be a folder there, okay. That's
I
cool.
think what we'll try to do is when items become finalized, I'll put them up on the drive.
Okay,
Because they're kind of in a draft format. We want everything to kind of either go through the chair or go through me or Brian until we get the documents finalized, and everything will be up there and you'll have access to it anytime you want.
great. And the flyer, you're looking for some of us to volunteer to do the flyer? Is
It's
that,
possible.
So I'll throw it out to the group. Does anyone, or actually one or a couple or even a few people want to be involved in the process of making the brochure? If so, raise your hands and I'm happy to.
Yeah, I'm happy to help.
Evan
I'll help.
and Mel?
yep,
Okay.
and that's with Lily, Amy, I'm sorry? Was that with Lily and you?
No,
Or
it's
you?
with whoever volunteers.
Okay, all right.
Feel free to run a draft by us.
Okay.
Obviously, or you have any questions or
Yeah,
any advice on it, but we're just gonna leave it up to the committee to start the flyer and build off of that. And
Okay.
whatever else you wanna add. Like if you need something, like a scan code, or you need us to create something that you don't have access to or whatever, let us
Mhm.
know. But, it'll be up to the committee.
okay, cool,
Be fun.
Perfect.
thank you.
I believe it's all gonna tie into the vision
Mhm.
the Envision Franklin logo and stuff that we talked about tonight. But I think since that kind of ties into the brochure, and the brochure should have some kind of,
Yeah,
logo like that,
Yeah.
that may expedite coming up with an idea behind this logo. But does everyone agree with Megan in the sense that we're in kind of competition with Franklin, Tennessee, and that we may want to come up with our own taglines, different than Envision Franklin? All right, so that brings us
Yeah.
to a conundrum, because is Lily going to be joining us tonight? Okay.
I just saw.
All right, let's do this. I would like to throw out ideas on taglines, but in lieu of us kind of spending a large portion of the night talking about what those taglines are, as part of feedback to the document that we have by the August 16th, if you have ideas on symbolism, logo, taglines, or anything like that, please include that in an email to Amy.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jen Williams just joined Zoom,
Okay.
and she does have her hand up.
Oh, okay. Jen?
Hi guys. Hi. Can
Hi.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
We can't see you.
no.
I am on the tarmac, so I apologize, but it's really hard to hear everyone. Like if people could talk into the mic a little closer, then that would help a lot. I'm gonna listen mostly for like the next hour, but it would just be great if people could talk closely to the mic. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
She muted herself.
That's right. Okay. Thank you, Jen. Glad to have you join. I did get a message from her early that she may be able to join us remotely. So as part, again, as the request that came up earlier about feedback in regards to the outreach plan, if you could also add in any information into an email to Amy or myself in regards to taglines, logos, thoughts, ideas, and ultimately what I think would be a logical thing to do is, based on that feedback, is to come up at the next meeting, kind of hash out which one we like the most, and then put it forth to Lily to come up with some kind of imagery. Because the one thing I've learned about Lily is she's very keen at making really cool images and stuff to kind of wrap around the text. Sound good?
Mhm.
Anyone have, Joe?
As far as coming up with a theme and stuff like this, is it limited just to this committee right now, or can the public join in on that? Maybe there's some people out there that have some great thoughts. I mean, we are here for the town of Franklin.
We are, but the time it would take to kind of accumulate that public information, especially in the summertime, may be a challenge. And considering we need to come up with something probably before the fall, in other words, before the Harvest Festival, and things like that, I think it's probably best if we came up with something on our own.
I'd rather spend time getting the right name and rushing into something the next month or so. But that's just me.
It's just us kind of marketing ourselves.
I understand.
We had a year and a half to do all this. What's up?
No, this is simply just to get the logo ownership
No, I got it.
and stuff so that we can put some kind of brochures in. just something to build off of as far as PR is concerned.
Hmm.
If that makes sense. Anything
Yeah.
else, Jeff? No? Anyone else have thoughts on the,
I just have one.
Amy?
Yeah, sure. The reason why we want to get this tagline going is it will be put on all our marketing materials. It'll be something that we start off with and it doesn't change throughout the whole process for the next year and a half. So it's kind of important to decide on one. It'll be our logo, it'll be our tagline, and when we go back a year, we did Franklin for All. That was our tagline, and everybody knew it has Franklin for All. So we want to get this going as soon as possible to put on our flyers. And we can always add to it.
Okay. I don't know if it's your laptop that might actually need muting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know, but I'm recording.
Oh, okay. That would be difficult. All right. We'll have to live with it. Colby, you had?
Oh, I was just gonna say, we're all welcome to talk to whoever we want who might have good ideas.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. Absolutely. We should try to expedite coming up with something as early as we can, simply because we do want to get that out there. So, anyone have any other thoughts on that particular item? As far as the community outreach plan and the draft that we've just reviewed, are there any further questions for Amy or for myself in regards to that and what the expectations are? August 16th. Okay. It's a relatively short agenda tonight, so the good news is we may be out here at a reasonable time. I know it's the summertime. So, all right, the next item on the list was to establish the missions and goals statements. This was one of the items that came up at our last meeting in regards to reviewing the goals and policies that are in the current 2013 master plan, and to give forth some feedback to Amy as of last week, which I believe is also the 19th, Wednesday the 19th. So we could have some of that feedback to discuss tonight. I did get a couple of people to have some feedback directly to Amy, one of which was Megan, and another one was Janelle. Everybody should have a copy of Megan's update to the mission statement as well as the vision statement. If you'd like to take a moment to read it, what I'll do is I'll read it out loud just to kind of give everyone some insight as to what she wrote. Megan, with your permission.
Absolutely, go ahead.
So this is Megan's update, mission statement. Franklin is an inclusive community that strives to support its citizens, land, and businesses in a sustainable, fiscally responsible manner. We value high-quality education, the arts, cultural and historic resources, and the superb delivery of public services. We are committed to creating a sustainable community by protecting open spaces and natural resources, while promoting balanced growth that enhances the diversity of our community. We work to attract and retain businesses, both profit and nonprofit, that grow our economy, create jobs, and contribute to a vibrant downtown center. We continue to work to improve and enhance the safe and efficient movement of people and goods within Franklin and across the regional transportation network by providing a range of integrated and sustainable transportation options. That's the mission statement. And the vision statement is, our vision of Franklin is to be a vibrant, inclusive, and sustainable community that supports the high-quality education, the arts, a nonprofit organization, and businesses in an atmosphere that allows diverse growth and prosperity while conserving our heritage, open spaces, natural resources, and history. Megan, would you like to talk further about this?
Sure. So basically my attempt at the rewrite was to simplify and shorten it some so that it's a little bit more of an easy read. I think looking at a lot of other company sort of mission statements, when you look at them, it's usually a one sentence, but it's really hard to write one sentence when you're looking at all the things we're looking at for an entire town. So I wanted to bring in all the things that we're touching on within the master plan program. And for me, it was important to include language around inclusivity and diversity. and sustainability within my comments here. So that's where I came with that. I really was looking for a sort of closing statement on the mission statement and didn't know where to land with that, so I've left it as is, obviously knowing that we'll be working around this not being our final proof here, our final draft. And same with the vision statement, it was a bit longer in the first and the previous plan, so I was trying to really, it's a lot of words in one, in one sentence, but I think it's pretty inclusive of what I foresee our vision of Franklin being. Obviously happy for feedback and alteration to what I've written.
Kobe? Yeah, did we receive that?
No, we just,
I guess you're-
it was just one, that's the draft of what she wrote tonight. But it
Yeah.
was-
This is the
Yes.
updated language
Yep.
of what you wrote. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to include that in tonight's packet so everyone had an opportunity to review Megan's feedback. Also, I received some feedback from Janelle in regards to the goals, policies, mission statement, and vision statement. Here it is. So, Janelle, correct me if I'm wrong, you wrote here, the work of the master plan, that's the correct person, right? It says, the work of the master plan committee is informed by a mission statement, vision and guided values. Can you read what you updated for me?
Well,
I don't know if I have it now, maybe I have a copy.
it was challenging for me to look at and provide feedback in the mission and vision statements without looking at them in the context of the whole goals and policies section. And so rereading that, it seemed a little confusing in that there's different sections for goals and different section, there was the former mission, the new mission, the vision, and I thought it might help to reorganize the section and put some simple definitions in there, both for us and for the audience, of what is the mission and vision statements. And then some of the things that we really wanted to highlight, like our commitment to sustainability and diversity, I thought, well, those could go into the guiding values piece. So let's beef that up. And that was a lot of the comments that I had. I did some minor edits to the mission and vision statement, but I thought they were pretty good. It was more the context around them that seemed to use some reorganization. So I sent a whole marked up Word doc of that section, and that's really what the comments were. There was just a little bit of language I added into the mission and vision. That's what we're reviewing right now.
Right. Let's see, that was, mission and vision, early in the master plan update, right process, the master plan committee worked to develop general goals and a vision of the town, one source used in the vision process for the town of Franklin's mission statement. And it states, it is the mission of the town of Franklin's governmental entities to provide all of its citizens with the greatest possible spectrum of basic services, directed, publicly expressed community needs at the least possible cost.
That's not what I wrote. That's from the original one.
Oh, that's from the original one.
Yeah.
So, my apologies.
And I highlighted it as questioning because the original, the 2013 master plan recommends to the town of Franklin to adopt the new mission statement from the master plan. But I couldn't find anywhere on the website if that was ever done.
Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that.
So my comments were more around the context of the mission and vision statement, and thought we could really use this committee and this process to sort of clean that up and give us real clear mission and vision going forward.
Okay. I think what my next question is, does anyone have any other further questions in regards to what's been the existing 2013 vision mission statement? And if they had any comments on it? I know there was a due date last Wednesday to kind of get forth some changes to Amy so that we could have had some kind of a draft for tonight. But does anyone have any comments in regards? Actually, I think one of my first questions is what do you think of Erin's Megan's revision of the mission and Eric?
Yeah, I'll need to check my emails. I sent some comments through as well,
Okay.
and so maybe they didn't capture. But they went along with Megan's there as well. You know, diversity and inclusivity, adding that into it, sustainability, adding those thoughts into it. So I think some of the language that she's added here really helps to reflect that. The one other area that I've been looking at with these goals and policies is agriculture, and how better we can ensure that agriculture and the benefits of agriculture in our community can be included into the mission as well.
Okay. So agricultural. Anyone else? Toby?
Can I make a recommendation?
Absolutely.
It would be helpful, I think, maybe as a group, if we could pull up a working document and comment on word changes.
Okay.
Is that-
Which document?
I would say,
The existing-
you
existing
can
goals
start with the
and
existing
policies.
one, or you can start with Megan's. I would start with Megan's.
Megan's.
And we'll comment on that.
I don't know if I can do that.
Right, if we agree that this is a good enough starting place, well, first, if we agree that, at least starting with the mission and vision statement before moving on to the larger section is worthwhile, and then if we agree that this is this merits being a starting place, then I think we could have a conversation that makes tweaks to, the proposed statement.
I don't think I can pull that up
Okay.
on there. I'm not connected to that. I'm on my own on the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's connected to the projector? Is that easily accessible?
That's for you.
What's being projected?
That's
The program.
That's the program that's being presented. That's.
What do you wanna
Franklin
see?
TV.
Franklin TV is being projected?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. From that device?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, well,
Amy had a meeting all by herself tonight.
No.
that's fine. All right.
We can work with it.
Yeah, so then I think we'll just like have to go through slowly and talk about it, section by section.
She just rewrite
So-
it, Kobe, put it in.
I think
Yeah.
ideally.
I have my
um,
document up on here, so I can at least comment and edit through here as we go and send it to everybody when we're done, if that helps at all.
That's probably the best bet.
Yep.
All right.
Is there a place where
Well,
you
yeah,
think
that's-
that you could add agriculture?
That's what I was just thinking through there is, you know, for example, where we say, we value high-quality education, the arts, cultural and historical resources, comma, agricultural resources,
Okay.
and superb. That way it gets captured into it.
So I'm sorry, cultural, agriculture, and historic, is that sort of the order you would see?
Historic and-
Agricultural resources.
Yeah.
Just to have a word.
Uh,
Where do you think that should go?
Seriously.
Right here.
Retain.
So right after. Sustainable historic resources.
cultural, historic, and agricultural.
And then after historic resources, it says agricultural. You want
Oh, up here. Okay.
specifically
Glenn,
agricultural.
are you okay if I read that sentence out loud as written now?
Yes.
So we value high-quality education, the arts, cultural, historic, and agricultural resources, and the superb delivery of public services, is now how that reads.
That's perfect. So the next sentence is, we are committed to creating a sustainable community by protecting open spaces and natural resources while promoting balanced growth that enhances the diversity of our community. All right, does anyone see anything on that they want to revise or add? Do you know?
Shouldn't we say something about housing? I mean, that's a huge, huge issue. You may be able to interpret balanced growth to include that, but I think,
That is what
It's a
I,
big-
what I meant by writing, but certainly we can be more clear on that.
yeah, that's what I would suggest.
While promoting balanced growth.
And housing opportunities.
Yeah.
That provides housing opportunities and enhances the diversity of our community. While promoting balanced growth, that provides housing opportunities and enhances the diversity of our community.
What's a housing
Well, it's just not.
Yeah, expands housing opportunities.
What is a housing opportunity?
The availability of housing
We have
at
no
diverse
available housing right now.
prices that welcome.
That provides or, well, do you think provides or promotes? Because we
Promotes
can't
diverse
necessarily
housing
provide
opportunity.
per se, but we can promote.
What about promotes accessible housing? Because
What's
it's,
acceptable?
well, what's affordable too? You know, we're always gonna struggle
You
with
say
those
affordable, but
terminologies.
why say acceptable?
Accessible.
Accessible.
Oh, accessible.
But I
'Cause I'm
think
trying to find what-
accessible implies handicapped.
Yeah.
So access
So-
to.
I know you meant more than that.
It gets
but-
used, accessibility gets used.
I would say promotes over provides,
Mm-hmm.
because we can't necessarily provide, but we can promote.
Promotes,
Promotes access to diverse housing options.
I love it.
Perfect.
What about supports?
Yeah, because where I'm trying to go with that is to do something more than just affordable housing. Because if, you know, as we were
Yeah.
thinking one session or another, we were talking, what's affordable? Well, affordable for Massachusetts is really expensive.
Right.
You know, and so you always have that question about affordability. So I'm trying to think through how else to characterize that housing stock and having
Yeah.
a wide spectrum. I like the idea of diverse housing.
Promotes access to diverse housing options and enhances the diversity of our community.
Are we using diverse twice in that sentence?
Yeah, we
Or-
can.
Yeah.
We might not need it, I mean, in theory, balanced growth that enhances the diversity of our community is the provision of
Promoting housing opportunities.
accessible housing options. We'll then have a gap in valuing diversity, which we
I
might
have,
want to
Mr.
do
Chairman,
later.
I think when we say, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, when we talk about balanced growth, it's not just gonna be housing growth, it's gonna be commercial growth, it's gonna be industrial growth. So, I mean, I think the balanced growth does make a lot of sense there. I guess I don't know where you can fit in housing as well, but when you're talking balanced growth, we're trying to balance out housing growth, business growth, industrial growth. That's where the whole balance comes in, because we're gonna see all of it.
The next sentence talks about attracting and retaining businesses, so I think that it's,
Poignant.
we're pointing to a lack of
The word
specifying
Mhm.
that we have some responsibility to create, diverse housing options.
I think, I agree with the fact that we're, while promoting balanced growth and housing opportunities, that enhances the diversity of our community. I mean, let's just keep it simple. We say promoting once already.
What about supporting?
I'm sorry?
What about supporting instead of promoting?
Supports access to housing options.
Well,
Access to
we,
diverse housing options.
we're always gonna support it, but in a sense, we are looking to promote it.
What do we do to promote it?
That all falls under kind of our economic development plans in regards to housing. And it's also actually something that, under the subcommittee of the housing subcommittee, they're gonna be addressing
Housing and economic
housing and
development.
economic development. It's gonna be a goal of that particular subcommittee.
Meg, so you just,
Thoughts real quick on doing balanced growth that promotes access to various housing options and enhances the diversity of our community? So just switching diverse to various.
Hey guys,
Yes.
That's Jen Williams.
girls, ladies, gentlemen,
Yes.
can anyone hear me?
Hi,
Yep.
Jen.
Yes.
Yep.
So whatever you just did, Amy, I can't hear anything in the room now.
Oh,
I think the sound was on your laptop.
Can
only,
you hear us
Amy,
now?
and it's not.
Can you hear us now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So the sound is only coming through your laptop. It's not coming through the room at all. That's why it's so hard to hear everyone. Just as a heads
well,
up.
she's on Zoom.
We're sending it out on Zoom. I know we are.
Okay.
I see. Well, so I see Franklin TV on Zoom, but the sound is only coming through Amy's laptop. The only person I can hear speaking clearly is Amy.
Okay. Can you hear us? Can you hear me now?
I mean, it's more muffled. I
All
think
right.
if everyone yells, and the people who are closer to Amy, I can hear better, obviously, but like when Janelle was speaking, I couldn't hear anything she was saying. So I don't know if anyone else, Jill on the line, is experiencing the same thing, but
Yes, hi.
Yeah.
Jill
Yes,
Slankus,
okay.
great to see everybody. It looks like the Franklin TV screen is muted.
It is. Do you want to be unmuted?
There we go, there we go. We're in business. Thank you.
Then maybe I can mute myself.
Can you hear me now? Talk.
Yes.
yes, oh
yes.
my gosh, that's so much better.
Yay, we got our technical difficulties resolved.
This is when I realized I didn't have Amy's cell phone number. I was like texting Janelle and I emailed Amy, but I'm like, I don't know.
Good. Well, I apologize, ladies, for the inconvenience and the technical difficulties that we had with Zoom. I'm glad we got it straightened out. Can you hear me now?
Yes, getting thumbs up.
Yes,
Okay, good.
yes.
Thumbs up.
Big
Yes.
thumbs up. I'm sorry. I believe everything you were continuing with something.
I have lost part of my train of thought, but I believe that I was going to suggest putting it instead into the next sentence. We work to, if we said promote various housing opportunities as well as to attract and retain businesses, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it would
A benefit
fit
there.
cleaner into the, into
The
that
next
sentence.
sentence.
Yep.
Okay, Megan, you want to type that into that sentence and reread it?
I said promote because that's what we had been saying, but promote is in the previous sentence, so anybody has a alternative. Promote various housing opportunities as well as to attract.
Okay.
Attract and retain businesses, both profit and nonprofit, or our economy.
You gotta take
continues
Amy's
on.
suggestion and put commercial and industrial in somehow also.
I think,
Hold on one second, Ken has his hand up. Ken.
Well, this is a different train of thought. So
Oh,
go ahead.
okay, Kobe.
I like the thought of putting it there. That lists off three things, right? So we're saying housing and attract and retain businesses, do three things: grow our economy, create jobs, and contribute to a vibrant downtown. I think the creation, for the most part, and maybe this is too technical, but the housing piece is really only adding to that third. You know, in theory, we create jobs every time we build a home, but that's that's not really why we're doing housing. So that's why I would maintain it in that previous sentence.
Actually, I would disagree in the sense that providing housing does help to create jobs, not just in the construction, but in providing workforce for the businesses.
It fills jobs.
Businesses have a hard time finding employees because it's so expensive to live here, so, I mean, they're all interrelated, there's no doubt about it. It's hard to draw lines in between them.
Megan, would you mind reading back what you've got so far?
Do you want from the top?
Sure.
All right, so Franklin is an inclusive community that strives to support its citizens, land, and businesses in a sustainable, fiscally responsible manner. We value high-quality education, the arts, cultural, historic, and agricultural resources, and the superb delivery of public services. We are committed to creating a sustainable community by protecting open spaces and natural resources while promoting balanced growth that enhances the diversity of our community. We work to promote various housing opportunities as well as to attract and retain businesses, both profit and nonprofit, that grow our economy, create jobs, and contribute to a vibrant downtown center. We continue to work to improve and enhance the safe and efficient movement of people and goods within Franklin and across the regional transportation network by providing a range of integrated and sustainable transportation options.
Excellent. Anyone else have feedback in regards to that? Ken?
On the word diversity,
Yes.
I think enhancing the diversity of our community is so cliche right now that I think that we should spell out what we mean by that, especially when you've got a classic New England town that, you know, when you especially also when you're using words like heritage and those sorts of things, I think it is one of those sorts of pieces where if you are someone looking to come into a community, you're looking for what the community is offering, what they're proffering. And that's a cliche. That's all I'm going to say. It's a cliche, and I think that we should really think about perhaps expanding that a bit. I noticed that in the other
It was spelled out.
form of what we had, it's spelled out, and I think that says something when a community's willing to say the terms. And in that other one, it did say, in effect, not in effect, but specifically, it says,
Racial, religious, and economic.
correct, racial, religious, and economic diversity. And I think that's an important piece.
Yeah.
Something that I think a lot of people that fit into those spaces really need to see, and it's a bit of a commitment.
Where, I fully agree, and it's gonna be one of my points, that it might be helpful to spell out diversity. It then just gets us into a space where we might need to spell out more, right? Things that came to mind are family diversity, right? The type of family you have, age diversity, or generational diversity, however you wanna. I think those are things that we may not have chosen to value in the past that are increasingly important to value, at least in my mind, you know.
So my thought process on taking out racial, religious, and economic was that it was 3 words and I didn't feel like it was enough. So I felt like the term diversity was broader for what I was having my vision of the town, but I certainly see your point in wanting to be more specific with that.
I agree. I also took those words out and expanded on a guiding values section. So we could really, rather than try to get everything into this one paragraph,
right.
That's why I started looking broader at the whole section. The other edit I had to just try to capture it, and I don't know if it's too wordy, but in the second sentence where it says we value high quality education, the arts, cultural, historic, agricultural resources, and the superb delivery of public services, I added for residents of all ages and backgrounds. So I thought that captured a little bit of what we mean by diversity, and then fleshed it out a little bit more in the guiding values section.
Yeah, do we have a separate thing within the first section that says essentially a diversity statement and calls it out as a specific thing that we're gonna look across all?
Right, under the guiding values portion.
Mr. Chairman, Jen has her hand up.
Okay, Jen?
Hi guys, I'm in a tunnel now, so sorry if you can't hear me, but I agree with everything you're saying. I would say in terms of all of the ages and background, I'd also say abilities, if we're trying to be all encompassing. And I agree on expanding on everything that falls under diversity in a separate section might be beneficial to dive into it more. Again, including everything that you were starting to hit on, Kobe, and, you know, physical abilities, and, you know, you could go on and on and on. We know that, but I do think it would be important to spell it out as sort of the next section. Thanks.
Or just a substitutive word. You know, I think that diversity means absolutely nothing right now. And maybe it's about being more of a pluralist community. Maybe it's some other way we describe the community. I just think that we're in a time frame right now. Diversity doesn't mean a whole lot.
Well, what's the 3 buzzwords that every corporation uses now? Inclusivity, diversity, I can't think of the other one.
Equity.
Equity.
Equity, yeah. So, I mean, if that's the case 10 years from now, I guess, what are they talking about all this stuff?
And, you know, I'm not sure we're talking about equity.
No,
And I'm
no.
not sure we're
The
in this.
pluralism of our community, does that apply?
You know,
Pluralism?
you're talking about trying to build a pluralistic community, and in fact, sure, we could spell out everything, but I think the whole notion is to really say that this is a place that welcomes people.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really the gist. This is a
Absolutely.
place where we're not gonna run you out of your house. This is a place where we're not gonna run you out of your workplace, or deny you service, those kind, you know. As someone who's experienced those kinds of things, it's still important in 2023 to make sure you say to people, you are welcome to come here.
Right.
And not only that, we're gonna protect you. I mean, that's really the gist of it.
So Ken, what are your thoughts? Are we are committed to creating a sustainable community by protecting open spaces and natural resources while promoting balanced growth that enhances the pluralism of our community?
Perfect.
I like that.
I love that. Perfect. Anyone else?
Kobe doesn't love it.
Kobe?
I think I need.
He needs a definition.
Yeah, I think I need a little more. Does pluralism capture everything that we're at? I guess so.
You gonna read the
You know, I think that
definition?
if you try to list, you're not gonna capture everybody.
We're not.
Someone's gonna
Right.
get left out and be upset about
Yeah.
it.
And-
Which is why I left it
and
as
we-
two
Or you're
words
not
that
gonna
we-
use the right term.
Right.
or,
Why we
you know,
both
it's
struck
gonna be
it.
Something that
I've
just.
never heard one person not come to Franklin because they read the master plan and it didn't have the words.
Well,
I don't know anybody that's ever read
This is a guiding principle.
All right, time out. Yeah, the one thing I do want to clarify, and the reason and the purpose of updating these mission statements and vision statements is because this is going to give us as a group some focus. Not necessarily to go into a document that people 2 or 3 years from now are going to say, oh, look at the mission statement. No, this is really just going to give us something to build off of so that when the process of building the next objectives for our goal and setting goals, that it gives us a basis to work off of. It's something we can give to the public so they understand what our basis is. Not so much as it is, okay, it's something we're going to put up on a billboard and broadcast downtown.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
But people do that. Before I came to Franklin, I did read these things. I did look to see
I did.
what are the kind of indices that are going to make sure my family and I are safe here. I have a really peculiar family. I'm a peculiar guy, and I wanted to make sure, especially, you know, so many New England towns have histories of not being very welcoming. So I'm a guy who reads these kinds of things, and I'm a person who would suggest to people before they go into certain communities and neighborhoods, you know, you should figure out at least what they're publicly saying, and do they have anything to that effect that's going to be useful. I also think that things like master plans have to be inspirational documents. A vision statement, that's inspirational. And we really need the people in Franklin to look at these things and to say, yeah, that is what we want. This is the proffer that we make to a person who might want to come here. It's about not only the actual benefits, but it's about the emotional benefits. That's important.
Oh, and I think
that's how we put a stake in the ground.
I think in part of, as part of our duties as the master plan committee, and when we go out to present this information to the public, when all is said and done, this is going to be the first thing we're going to read. And this is what should clearly state to the public and to the community at large what our mission was from the get-go. So that, because this will be the first thing we read going out of the gate when we do any kind of presentation or public or getting any public input, so that they understand why we're doing things. Yes.
I wholeheartedly agree with Ken on everything he said there. What gave me a lot of comfort in this statement too was the fourth word in this is inclusive, and that it gave it such priority so early on in the vision statement really spoke to the welcoming environment that's here, and it is here. It, you know, as a new person in town, granted I have my, you know, all the privileges that are associated with it as well, but it has been a very welcoming town, and I think highlighting that so early on gave me some comfort that I was speaking to that perspective.
So, just to kind of move things, just to try to get things moving along a little bit here, is everyone pleased with the revisions? And the reason I'm kind of trying to push this forward a little bit more here is because ultimately what I'd like to do at our next meeting is have a vote on approving the mission and the vision statement, so that we'll have it under our belts. It's something we can put into literature, and we can check off our list as having got accomplished, as well as the overarching goals and policy section. Hold on one second, Toby. Just have one statement. Janelle made a logical revision to the goals and policies. She had actually called it an executive summary. You want to explain the logic?
Yes, so if you look at the whole goals and policies section, it really functions at the front of the master plan as an executive summary. It has an intro, it talks about mission and vision, it talks about our process, and then it talks about a summary of the goals and policies that are outlined within in every section. And so I thought, let's rename it that and reorganize it a little bit to be that executive summary with all these parts and pieces in there, adding definitions to what mission, vision, and guiding values are for us, but also our readers, our audience. And then fleshing out the guiding values, because in the goals and policies section, the only guiding values are public input and sustainability. And I thought, well, we have a lot more to that than, smart growth I put in there. And so that's a little bit of my proposal for the whole section.
For the whole section as a whole. Which brings me to one question. Amy.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we had a discussion with Brian in, to the specifics of what Massachusetts state law provides as guidelines for a master plan document. It states that goals and policies is one of those highlighted sections that we need to have. Can that be revised?
I can look into it.
Okay, if you don't mind, just checking, because I just want to make sure we're following the rules of the state in regards to what they want the master plan to look like, because I know there's been discussion about potentially changing the wording of sections. I just want to make sure we stay in cahoots with what the state's requirements are for what we call our sections. Thank you. And that's, I understand your point and the logic. I just have to make sure through Amy and the planning department if that's something we're allowed to specifically change, or if it has to stay goals and policies, or if we can even add in an executive summary as part of that. I don't know how we would break that up. That's a question for the planning department. I'm going to actually have Amy research that.
Okay.
And look into it. Okay, Kobe, I'm sorry, you had a comment?
Yeah, just if we're trying to wrap
just
up
to wrap
the
up
mission.
mission section.
So maybe it's easier to go through this way about what I don't see included. And I really do apologize for not getting these comments out earlier. I'm sorry for all your time. Things not included, health, engagement, being, promoting citizen engagement, forward thinking, like, being, having these things last, not only immediately, but into the future. Being good regional partners, working with our region, being good global citizens, is that something that we strive to be and see Franklin as being? And then we took out sort of responsive government.
Would it be fair to state, in lieu of adding so much more into the mission statement, that, as to Janelle's point, is kind of add those in as part of the guiding values, and maybe even suggest putting in another section into goals and policies as far as guiding values are concerned that would include that list of things, instead of trying to fit all of it into the mission statement. I guess it's kind of where I'm going with that.
I suppose I'm open to feedback on that. I did have a few, spots where we could have dropped some of them in, but I also just wanted to make sure that we speak them and decide, amongst all of us, if any of them are worthy of being part of the mission of this group. I think it's okay if some of them aren't. For example, the delivery of public services. I think increasingly we're becoming aware of the importance of ensuring that the provision of quality services, that we're providing them in a way that we can actually afford to continue providing them in the future. And that providing them at one point, if they cost us a ton and then we can't actually, and then we sort of hamper future generations with those expenses, isn't helpful. So I added delivery of public services now and into the future. I don't know if that.
I'm sorry, repeat that again?
The superb delivery of public services now and into the future. Or some other way of speaking.
Kobe, my thought on the health is I actually would like including that. So my thought is we value high quality health care and education. Education and healthcare, we could put it elsewhere, but.
Yeah, I like it.
Is health broader than just healthcare, though?
Wellness.
Health.
Well,
Wellness.
health and wellness, technically speaking, are two separate things.
High quality health education, I mean, can you just do that? It's possible.
How's the town of Franklin provide health?
We promote healthy living through our choices. And I thought about putting health within the safe, healthy, and efficient movement of people, right? That,
Yeah, I like that.
you know, if everything is run by polluting vehicles, then we add to the pollution of our air quality, and that, you know, changes the health of our citizens. If things are able to be walked between and connected, then you're healthier both in your connection to other people, which has been shown to save lives. You know your neighbors, because they can help with heat and all that. But also that you're more likely to be walking, and that promotes longer living. And,
So.
I think that there are choices.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but do you have, in lieu of having a lengthy sentences added onto the mission statement, would there be a specific word, two words, or something that we could add in that would simplify?
Yeah, I didn't mind. We value high quality health education for people like that, or if we want to just specifically focus on the safe, healthy, and efficient movement of people.
I feel like it fits better
I
in
like
the
that.
second person.
I like
Yeah.
the latter, because it's broader than just education as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking of even like open space.
Yeah.
And the health benefits that open space provides in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I just add one more line and call it a day. 'Cause
Yeah, Joe.
Couldn't wait.
I just have a question, I'm sitting here listening to all this.
Go ahead.
What is Franklin not doing already that we've all been talking about tonight? We've already made this community one of the second safest in the country, one of the best communities in here. What are we not doing that we're talking about tonight, right now? What are we not doing that's in the mission?
So
Jenna.
when I tried to draft up, I wanted to understand what's the difference between mission, vision, and values. And so I thought what were very simple definitions, and the mission statement is what we're doing. Like, this is our purpose and this is what we do. The vision is more aspirational. This is where we want Franklin to go. And the guiding principles are, these are the things that we hold dear that inform our mission and vision.
But don't we already have that basically in place? We have open space committees, we have all that stuff, we have the housing for the elderly. Everything we're talking about is already in place. We're kind of repeating what we've already got existing.
I think that's the point, though, just sorry for me to step in. I think that's the point, is that we need to be highlighting what we have done. So if you're coming from outside the community, you know who we are and what to expect from the town of Franklin.
But that's why we have the people in this town that were already educated about all that.
Oh,
There's gotta-
no doubt about
There's
that.
gotta be a way to get where we are, that people have
think-
already experienced and read about.
I think, Joe, to the point of the mission statement is that it's going to be the set of common values and ideas and feelings that we as a master plan committee and a community as a whole ultimately share. And this is we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just clarifying and specifying a little bit more towards today's. Again, we have to understand that we're looking towards the future. We really want to be thinking about what type of community do we want to be 10 years from now, within the next 10 years. And the mission statement really is going to nail down our projections.
And the last comment I had was, I keep hearing about making the downtown vibrant. Well, as a whole, the town of Franklin, the downtown area, is about 1% of our landmass. I think the town of Franklin has a lot more to offer than just the downtown, and putting all the effort on the downtown. It's a beautiful town. There's a lot of acreage. There's a lot we can do with it all. And I just keep hearing the word downtown. Well, I've been driving through downtown since I got my license at 16, and I can tell you right now, it's no different 50 years ago, and it probably won't be different in
It's more
another.
vibrant 50 years ago than it is today.
Well,
If you didn't
I
have
wasn't gonna
post
go that
office
far,
and-
but
and you're gonna lose a bank uptown, so you'll see how.
I wasn't gonna go that far, but I'm just saying, I think we can put our efforts a little bit outside of the downtown area. The town has a lot to offer. There's no open space downtown.
So Joe, we could certainly change this to contribute to a vibrant, we had downtown
Community,
center, because that's what it had, but
yeah.
community, yeah.
I strongly disagree with that.
Okay.
Just,
Hold on.
sorry, fingers moving, and I just find.
Hold on a second. So before, still, Joe, you still got the floor. Is there something you'd like to replace that with?
One or two words.
Community, as a community as a whole. I don't think all the attention should be just pushed on the downtown. There's a lot more this town has to offer. Walking trails, there's no walking trails downtown, there's no open space. We have a lot more we can grow on outside of just the downtown. I'm not throwing the downtown under the bus, but we shouldn't put 100% of our effort just in the downtown.
It's a fair statement. Kobe?
What if we add in vibrant, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, yeah.
Vibrant downtown center and community, that is.
Something that touches on the outside.
Yeah. Okay, Kobe.
Yeah, I think they're sort of one and the same. To answer the first part of, like, you know, just not to belabor it, but why mission statement support. As we go through the rest of the process, we're gonna, you know, look back to this mission statement. Okay, why are we recommending this zoning change in this area? It's because it promotes these things that we've all said we agree on, and I think that's why that's important. You know, there's a reason we do focus on a vibrant downtown. It is more fiscally sustainable to have a vibrant downtown. It creates a more engaged and connected community. It creates a healthier community and lowers our climate impact if we build in downtown and sort of in and out from the downtown. It supports you know, more economic activity stays locally. I do think that there's a reason why we should strive to have a particularly vibrant downtown.
I don't think Megan took out that word. I think she actually added in community, correct?
Yeah, so I left downtown center and was adding
Right.
community, so it is encompassing of
Thank you.
both.
Yeah.
Ken?
I don't know if we're still on this thread.
Yep.
I was gonna
Still on
say
that.
Kobe's
I'll wait.
point, yeah.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Support.
Would you-
I agree with adding in community as a whole.
Right up the lines
To
of
contribute.
less than one or two words that have it.
And it'll be the 5th time we say community in the.
Okay.
We got a limit?
We don't. I love community.
All right. So that's the last sentence. We continue to Ken.
And this is, I think, a bit of placeholder as I read through the master plan, because we are refreshing.
Yes.
For like the 8th time. You know, I'm looking, as we refresh, there's a couple of words, you know, on Kobe's point, a couple of words that I think aren't there that are signaled pretty hard. And go to your point, Joe, about what we've got here. I'm looking for recreation, and I'm also looking for innovation as well in something here of mission, so that going forward, we're keeping that in mind, that recreation's been a real jewel here, but also innovation comes up a few times, particularly in the economic development and the housing spaces, that we got to be a little more creative and innovative about moving forward.
Okay, good luck with that.
But just to sort of put us all on mission to be thinking that way. Because they speak a lot about it in 2013, those two things.
I think it would fit in nicely to add, you know, we are committed to creating a sustainable community by protecting open spaces and recreation.
Natural resources are spaces to recreate.
Eric, did you have a question? Eric?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay.
And it also goes to
Natural
the-
resources, well, because natural resources is broader, you know, that's the tough part with these mission statements, right? You want to make sure that you're using words, that it isn't a long litany of everything, and it is capturing as best you can all the details. Because, for example, natural resource isn't just recreation. Like, I'm thinking of climate resiliency and all the benefits that our natural resources provide.
Right.
And I don't think we need to necessarily add that in as well. I say all that not to suggest we don't insert recreation. It's just the struggle that we're trying to have here. If there's an aspect that's missing, innovation, creativity, I don't see necessarily captured here. And Kobe, you spoke to this as well, I think.
Yeah.
And so I like the idea of inserting that somewhere. Don't know where yet. I got to think more.
Okay.
And by no means am I suggesting we add either of those. I'm just saying that there would seem to be some themes and, you know, to push us forward for this current future we're in. It might be nice to refresh them up in some way, but if not, that's fine too.
Do we think that innovation might fit better in our vision statement rather than?
That's a good point.
I was just gonna say that, Janelle.
Good point.
That was Megan.
That was That's fine. You can take credit.
Oh, that was Megan. Sorry,
That's
you
okay.
guys, you sound similar. Way to go, Megan. No, I was gonna say that if to the point of these simple categories of mission versus vision versus guiding principle, in terms of mission and the things we do really well, I think we do, you know, recreation and open space really well, and, you know, everything we listed so far. If I'm being a little, maybe where we want to be a little more aspirational could be in the innovation and creativity side of things. So I agree, maybe that is more so in the vision statement versus in the mission statement.
Okay. So, why don't we do this? With the suggestions that have been given, if you don't mind just reading the mission statement through completely, and then I think everyone give a general, you know, agreement with whether they feel it's sufficient, we can move on to the vision statement. And what time? It's 7:35. Go ahead.
I left recreation in here, but we can take it out, so I'll just read it through with it in there so you can see what that sounds like. So Franklin is an inclusive community that strives to support its citizens, land, and businesses in a sustainable, fiscally responsible manner. We value high-quality education, the arts, cultural, historic, and agricultural resources, and the superb delivery of public services now and into the future for residents of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds. We are committed to creating a sustainable community by protecting open spaces, recreation, and natural resources while promoting balanced growth that enhances the pluralism of our community. We work to promote various housing opportunities as well as to attract and retain businesses, both profit and nonprofit, that grow our economy, create jobs, and contribute to a vibrant downtown center and community. We continue to work to improve and enhance the safe, healthy, and efficient movement of people and goods within Franklin and across the regional transportation network by providing a range of integrated and sustainable transportation options.
I love it.
I like it. Adding those few words, I think, made a big difference.
It really did. Just great input, by the way, by everybody tonight in regards to the mission statement. With just a general show of hands, we don't necessarily need to vote on this tonight because it needs to be revised. It needs to be put into an official wording that Amy's going to put into our goals and policies as part of that first section. We can generally agree tonight in favor of this. I'm in favor of it. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Kobe, one
Aye.
last. Okay, that's good. One last.
Just say no.
One last.
One last shot.
One last Kobe. One last comment, Kobe.
I just, you can all roll your eyes and groan this. Franklin is an inclusive and engaged community would have been my only addition.
This isn't like a jury trial where one guy gets to nix the whole thing. You gotta go with the pack or just.
I am well aware. I am open to a quick reaction to see if that is a value that's not currently in here, that is something that we appreciate about Franklin, that people participate in the community, not just are served by it.
I'll just note that I suggested community engagement as our #1 guiding value.
Okay, that's fair. I think we've got a general.
That'll be
consensus
next round.
on the mission. I think we've got a general consensus and agreement on the mission statement. So I think with that, everyone feel comfortable moving on to the vision statement.
Yes.
Sorry?
I'm gonna send it over to Amy now so she can get it checked out.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it.
So the vision statement, Megan, if you'd like
So
to.
I will read what I have, but then I have a thought.
Okay.
So what I wrote previously was, our vision of Franklin is to be a vibrant, inclusive, and sustainable community that supports high-quality education, the arts, nonprofit organizations, and businesses in an atmosphere that allows diverse growth and prosperity while conserving our heritage, open spaces, natural resources, and history.
That's good.
My thought as we've been talking through this other thing is all the other things in our mission statement is what if we shorten it and be more specific? Our vision of Franklin is to be a vibrant, inclusive, pluralistic, innovative, and sustainable community. In one line.
That's short and sweet.
That does.
And I think that hits all the things that we've kind of spoken about.
Kobe's thinking.
So the words I use again. So our vision of Franklin is to be a vibrant, inclusive, pluralistic, innovative, and sustainable community.
I like it.
I like it.
Anyone else got comments?
Kobe's thinking hard, so I'm waiting.
Gino?
Yeah, I like it especially because the rest of that statement is all already said above.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's logical.
yeah.
Did you remember that?
All right.
Anyone else have any comments before I pretty much move this to affirmative?
Kobe's still thinking.
I
Well,
reread.
Kobe's thinking then, I'll ask a question.
Yes,
So
please
you're
do.
thinking about putting a full stop then at the end of community
I
then?
think so.
And then striking the rest of that?
Yes.
Right?
Is my thought.
It's punchy.
Yeah.
It is.
It's memorable.
You added
Yeah.
It's
innovative.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I've
Read
added.
this.
So I've added in,
Know what we stand.
Yeah.
plural.
pluralistic and
Pluralistic.
innovative are the
Yeah.
two words I've added there.
I think the only
Jen has-
suggestion I had in my suggested edits was I had the word welcoming in there, but you have inclusive.
That was mine. Yeah. Do we
So
replace
that might be a
inclusive with
swap if
welcoming?
we have inclusive up in the mission.
Yeah, it's more or less the same.
I like
I think-
welcoming. That was the, I would second that. That was the one.
Jen has
There's
her
something
hand
there's
Instead
something
of
active
inclusive.
about,
Jen.
Yeah, I was gonna go to Jen. Jen, I was gonna go to you next anyways. I apologize for getting too shortly. Go ahead, Jen.
That's okay. Hi. So, I like that, Megan. I'm thinking, I've got my architect hat on here for a second, and when I go through visioning exercises with clients, and you know, the clients are typically always coming up with super aspirational hopes for projects, for master plan success, and it, you know, is often reaching for maybe something that they're not already doing. They want best in class. They want to lead the way. They want to, you know, be competitive with their peers. And I wonder if, you know, our vision statement should be more aspirational. Maybe we can't, you know, is there a reason we don't want to push boundaries or pave the way or set the standard or be, you know, a top XYZ, you name it. Or maybe we need, you know, more community engagement to help define that a little better. But, you know, I'm just wondering how we could be bold. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Jen. Appreciate it. All right. Any other comments?
I definitely see where Jen is coming from. I don't know where to go from here to.
To make that change.
Yeah.
You can expand all that in the 200 pages that we have to follow.
Yeah, we do have quite a bit of space to
Yeah, I
fill
did
in.
think
It
about like,
doesn't have to all be done in this first paragraph.
I mean,
No, it
it
doesn't.
could be, our vision for Franklin is to be known as a vibrant, like that we would be like on the map, right? People would know that Franklin is this vibrant, inclusive, pluralistic, innovative, sustainable community, period.
I like that.
Okay. Eric,
That's sort of
go
his-
for it.
Yeah,
Now, how did you
two-
word that again?
Uh,
A vision of
Janelle, you
Franklin
wanna
is.
restate that?
Be known
Is
as.
to be known as a vibrant, inclusive, et cetera, et cetera. It's a little bit more boundary pushing, like,
Mhm.
hey, we're out there.
Eric, you have a thought?
Yeah, a couple thoughts. I don't know how much I don't know if I like the known as. It's like, what do we care what other people say? We want to say what we want to be, you know, as opposed to how other people feel about us. So I don't know if that resonates with me.
Okay.
Jen said the word bold. I really like that word. I think vibrant starts to capture that idea of being bold. So I think that's all right. The one thing that's missing here, though, which I like at the end, is about the protection. it's this conserving heritage, open space, and natural resource and history. And I don't know the solution there, but I like that in our mission that we are being forward thinking to protect what's valuable to our community.
Does sustainability capture that?
Yeah.
I think it does.
Innovation and
That
sustainability.
catches it, that captures it.
All right.
I don't know.
What was the word that you
Yeah,
There's another one.
okay. Megan, you wanna read it back one more time, just as it was last written?
Are we doing the to be known as or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. And are we doing welcoming or inclusive?
Inclusive. Yeah. Inclusive.
Sad.
Welcoming.
We can repeat those words.
We're gonna-
Okay, all right.
Gotta be
All right,
bold.
so our vision of Franklin is to be our vision of Franklin is to be a vibrant, inclusive, pluralistic, innovative, and sustainable community.
Love it. All right. As stated, all in favor of moving the vision statement forward to be passed on to Amy to add into our goals and policies. All in favor, say aye.
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 Awesome. Congratulations, folks. We accomplished. Good piece tonight. That's awesome.
You didn't get Jen's vote.
Jen?
It would be interesting.
Sorry, I'm driving, so I'm like trying
Oh,
to hit
okay.
mute and unmute.
We
yes,
just take a.
I support the consensus.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Jen.
Disagree.
General consensus, absolutely. Okay, Kobe?
I do think that it's possible that there's room to be laid out for giving some time to like what metrics we're gonna measure ourselves by. It's weird. I mean, like a lot of them are like loose rankings and like who do we care about, and are we playing to certain rankings? But I think it might be worth considering. You know, the like Boston Globe as the top education rankings. Like, are we going to name that metric ever? Safest town in America by some body. Are we going to name that metric ever? Most livable place by whatever. So some of the ones that we've been named before. I don't know, but that's for a later date.
If you don't name them, I will.
Okay.
I mean, that's an important part of my business.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So, good. We got two things chalked off of my list here. All right, moving on back to the agenda. Agenda item number 3, subcommittee meeting schedules. If everyone recalls, I know we had a couple of people who were absent last meeting. Our chairs, just by way of clarification, our chairs for Land Use and Zoning Committee are Janelle Lang. The chair for the Housing and Economic Development is Kenneth Thomore. The chair for Community Services, Facilities and Circulation is Kobe Frangillo. And the chair for Sustainability is Gino Carlucci. And the chair for Open Space, Recreation, Natural, Cultural, and Historical Resources is Megan Hagan. One of the items that got passed out at the last meeting, I know a couple people may have been absent, so maybe Amy, we can forward the, or post on to the Google Drive or in an email, subcommittee rules and responsibilities that got sent out in the last meeting.
Okay.
Before I move on to establish the subcommittee meeting schedules and discussion with the particular chairs in the subcommittees, I do want to highlight really quickly what the roles and responsibilities are, and I'm going to read them really quickly. Set schedule for meetings, that's going to be provided to Amy. Prepare meeting agendas, review meeting minutes, determine the roles of each member within the subcommittee, determine subcommittee communications and outreach schedules, utilize community engagement strategies, take part in public input process, including the public hearings, set up public input meetings and time frames, utilize the timeline being established for the full committee, update the full master plan committee at any monthly meetings, review the implementation elements of the 2013 master plan, review the goals of the 2000 master plan, review and comment on Beta's existing conditions of work, establish new preliminary draft goals, meet with other subcommittees to discuss common issues. Number 12, just to be specific, when it comes to meeting with other subcommittees and discussing common issues, there is a fair chance that because of how tight the schedules are gonna be this fall, there are so many different committees, from the Davis Thayer to the master plan to all of our subcommittees and the planning board and all their other departments, who have so many meetings going on prime nights, that there's a fair chance that people might be having overlapping meetings. And what I mean by that is the Land Use and Zoning Committee could be having a meeting the same night that Housing and Economic Development does. It's highly probable that these things are going to happen. So as far as collaboration between each committee, there's going to be opportunities for each subcommittee to reach out to the chairs of other subcommittees to gain feedback from them. But when it comes to kind of intercross subcommittee information, that's going to have to basically go through this whole committee, because Amy, I don't think Amy's going to be going to every single subcommittee meeting and passing along information from subcommittee to subcommittee. So, yeah, Brian's going to show. So I do want to clarify, is that every chair of each subcommittee has the option to reach directly out to Amy or to Brian, who will reach out to Beta or Barrett if there are specific information, data, research, et cetera, that any one particular subcommittee needs. It's not something that has to go through me. It's just CC me in the email so I can just kind of keep track of the information chain, so that when something has to come specifically to the master plan committee as a whole, I can discuss it with Amy and we can put it on the agenda to bring up at a future meeting. Does that make sense? Okay. Refine goals, compile feedback and adjust goals, refine goals, develop objectives, propose actions, combine subcommittee work into the draft master plan, and then obviously review the draft master plan, provide comment on subcommittee members and or as individuals. Now, one of the charges that came out of the last meeting was the hope that each chair would take the opportunity to reach out to the various members of their subcommittees and gather potential first meeting dates, as well as set up potential times and dates to meet. So I guess my first question goes out, I'll just throw it out to Janelle first, as on Land Use and Zoning Subcommittee. Have you had an opportunity to reach out to the members of that particular subcommittee?
Yes, I reached out to the group and proposed Mondays opposite the planning board meetings. It's challenging because we have such a big group and we have people on multiple boards. But that looked like the lightest scheduled night. I heard from my friend to my right, Gino, that sustainability was also targeting Mondays. So I thought, oh, this may be an interesting discussion we're having tonight if everybody's targeting the same night. And it sounded like from the group, we at least had most of our members were available for a kickoff on Monday, 8/14. So even if we don't land on regular Mondays, that at least we had a kickoff date to aim for.
Okay. No, actually, I think that's a very logical thing to do, because the specific subcommittees, just by way of clarification, you're not limited to the dates. You don't, and Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't always have to have the same night, the same time, or any of that. That is completely at the will of each of the chair and each subcommittee to determine who, what, where, when, and why you have these meetings. It may be beneficial somewhere down the line when you're gathering public input to be able to host them on different nights, so that you have a better likelihood of actually getting that public input, because it's not interfering with the planning board meeting, or it's not interfering with the town council meeting, or something like that. It might benefit. It could be even a Saturday morning down at the senior center, or it could be at the library on a Friday night. All those things are an option for any one of the subcommittees, just to make that clear. This is not a set in stone kind of thing. We're just really kind of hoping to get a start off or a kickoff for everybody, so that that first, as I said in my email earlier, that first initial meeting will ultimately be a brainstorming session for everyone to kind of sit down and garner thoughts on how to approach their piece of the puzzle, if that makes sense.
Glenn, can I ask a
Yes,
question?
ma'am.
If we are to do something such as the library, et cetera, what do we do as far as minutes?
Amy?
Our plan was to have Zoom available for all the subcommittee
Okay.
meetings. So on Zoom, you will record it.
Okay.
And you could go back and review the minute, type it off of Zoom. That is our plan, is we won't have Franklin TV at the subcommittee meetings, but we can at least give you a Zoom access for the public, because it has to be posted to the public, so
Yep.
at least there's some access to it as well.
And so we'll have the Zoom recording and then we're responsible for creating our own minutes, is that?
We are trying to find someone who would do minutes for the subcommittees.
Okay. Thank you.
So in general, any
Flexibility
any
there.
recordings from the Zoom meetings will act as as unofficial minutes that will become official minutes based on.
Okay.
And that makes more sense. To Amy's point, again, that's a great point, Amy, is even though you'll have the flexibility to put your meetings and your public input sessions, or your hearings, at whatever you deem the most logical to do, it's still a public meeting, and it still needs to be posted with an agenda, with any documentation or whatever, 48 hours prior to the meeting. That's just open meeting law requirements, so we're required to do that regardless of the fact. So if you pick a date and you choose to have a different date or change the schedule around, just be certain that each chair of each subcommittee forward an agenda with the date, the time, and that will contain the Zoom information as well as any other public information we are duly needed to note 48 hours prior to that date. Fair enough?
You can send it directly to the town clerk, correct?
Everything goes through Amy. Yeah.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Sorry. So Amy, as far as the agendas, do we just send you what we want on the agenda, or is there a template that we should have to create the agenda?
Well, in the drive, you could use the same template as, I did today.
Yep.
I wrote all over mine, but
Yeah.
this is in the drive under
Okay.
Word, so you can just grab this and update it if you want.
Perfect.
Just change the heading to, whatever your subcommittee is and everything.
Sounds great.
And
Thank you.
can we use that same Zoom link, or do we need to get a different one?
No,
every time?
you will need different Zoom links.
Yes.
I think what our goal is going to be, I'm just kind of brainstorming this now, because I think we might get a whole separate Zoom account for the master plan committee. And then you could set up your own Zoom. You would log in, the day or night or whenever your meeting is, and you'd also be able to see when everybody else set up their meetings. So, because you can't do two Zoom meetings at once. So you would be able to see that too, that you aren't duplicating, or you can be duplicating, but you would just need a different Zoom account, like our account or something. If you were to
Well, you
have
just
a
made a
meeting at the
statement
same
that we
time.
wouldn't be able to choose Zooms at once, so if we
So
had.
you wouldn't be
so-
able to use the same Zoom
Same.
account
Oh, okay.
at once. You
Okay.
would
But
need-
you were thinking of setting up one specific for the
If
master
there's-
plan?
Yes, and then if there is gonna be two meetings at
Yeah.
the same time, then we would use our account that I'm
Okay.
using right now.
No, fair enough. Joe?
Through the chair, for the record, I've never received any emails about every other month. I'm fine with the dates and the times, but I'm not getting connected, I guess, through the portal or something. I'm not, the only last email I got today was from Amy stating there were hard copies available of the master plan. I have not received any other since your email.
Did you receive my email this morning?
I don't believe so.
Hmm.
I know I received nothing.
Yeah, I did email you, Joe.
Yeah, I check the site daily,
Huh,
but I will check
You-
it again in the morning.
okay. We may have to have you reach out to.
IT,
And IT. and
we might
find
need to
out.
have IT take a look at
The
it.
last one I got was an Amy went out.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the last one I got.
Nothing since?
No.
Okay.
And the reason why I know that is because I was trying to verify the date that there was a meeting tonight, and I
I
thought
know, I got you.
she put in the next meeting, and I said, I could have swore she put on the 26th, but
Yeah.
she didn't put that on, so that's why I texted you, to confirm it was a meeting.
Yep. All right, so, Joe, I'll CC you tomorrow, but I'll shoot an email to Raposa, our IT specialist here,
Okay.
to look into your town account. I'm sorry, someone else had a question? Or Kobe?
I had questions in advance of scheduling the subcommittee meetings, and you suggested that this meeting would be a worthwhile time to talk through those questions.
Yes.
Is this a good time?
Yeah, no, this is perfect.
All right. So the only date that we have is which seems to me like a hard deadline, is that there'd be a public hearing on a draft master plan in May of 2024. Right. So I was trying to figure out how long out we're scheduling, and when we as a subcommittee need to be done with our work. It seems like it would have to be by February 2024, March 2024.
So next meeting, we're gonna have all those, a monthly outline of what we need the committees, the subcommittees to do. So I really can't answer that tonight until we finalize our spreadsheet that we've
Okay.
put together, which may move some of these dates, this is why this is a draft in front of you. So as soon as we can finish our timeline for the next meeting, then it'll all be in the timeline.
Okay, that might be the answer to many of my questions. Yeah, time framing of when we should have the
That's our
implementation
goal,
elements,
is to,
goals,
with the timeline.
data requests.
Yeah, we have it broken out basically by all that stuff in our timeline.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That would be helpful. All right, a few others that might not be necessary for that. Are field trips eligible? All right, we're the facilities committee. I would love to go and see some facilities. Do they have to be
scheduled?
Public? Do they have to be operating as public meetings? Are they two separate things? Could we do a tour that ends in a space that has a public hearing?
That, I would categorize that similar to what for instance, Bader and Barrett are currently doing. They're just kind of going around and gathering data. It's not necessarily, it's not necessarily in the best interest of the community to be involved in that process of gathering data and collecting information. That's just, that's something we can do anytime we want. In fact, we can request from any one of the departments to either individually or even as a group to just kind of go and look at the site. You're not deliberating on anything specifically, and you're not actually coming up with any decisions based on that.
Schedule those separate from your
Yes.
subcommittee meetings.
Correct.
Yeah, you can do them on your own. If you need to get into lock buildings, then we need to arrange that through me, through the facilities department, but yes, you can go out on your own.
Part of it would just be all right, if we're gonna do a meeting on emergency services, could we host it at the police department?
Well, if you're gonna have a meeting, that's a different story. We need to post that meeting. If you're just going for your own discovery and, analysis and to look at things, then it's not a meeting.
Yeah. I guess would your recommendation, would our agreement be do them separate? Try to keep it to major buildings, if not this building, for your public meetings and do the other things.
You bring up an interesting point. If there is, say, for instance, a topic that's relative to
senior center.
Right, the senior center, for instance, you can host your meeting at the senior center, and that would attract seniors, obviously. But if there is a specific topic that comes up in regards to one of the goals and objectives that are in any section of the master plan that's relevant to, say, safety, it could be there is a meeting room at the fire station. Or if there's something relative to education, you get the library, the high school.
And we're
so
we
there's
like
options
that.
for meetings.
We support
Yes.
changing up the location.
Yes, in fact, it would probably be prudent to do so, because I think, and I know this I know everyone probably thinks this is like one of the most exciting rooms in all the buildings that we have in the town, but it's really not. I can't imagine how many people actually straggle their way up on the 3rd floor of the community building and go, oh look, there's a meeting going on. But if you told them that you were at the fire department, if you told them you're at the senior center, if you told them that you were at the library, if you told them that you were at Dean College's, Golden Room, is it Golden? I always get the
Golder.
The Golder Room. That might seem like more of an attraction to individuals in the public to come out and actually participate in these meetings. So those are options that are kind of open up to everybody too. So, if you want to have, I don't know if there's space at the DPW, but it's always worth inquiring about. But again, just to clarify the discussion that Kobe and I are having here, is there are two things. There are the open public meetings where you are going to ultimately discuss, debate, and come up with decisions. That all has to be within a public forum, all within 48 hours on an agenda with a specific location with Zoom meetings. If you have to garner information or statistics or data or anything in regards to any one entity within the town of Franklin, by all means reach out to Amy or Brian in the planning department and request a visit to these locations to gather as much information as you feel necessary. I think that's in fact.
Barrett's on the line.
I'm sorry?
I mean, Barrett's on the line. Just want to let you know.
Do they want to talk in regards to that? Because they've actually, in fact, if they're here, could they mention the fact that they're currently doing interviews? I didn't bring that
Well,
up.
that's the whole reason why I was gonna, once we got through this agenda, I was just gonna have them give you a quick update where they're at, what their
Okay.
next steps are.
That's a great
For
idea.
the whole
So let me
committee.
finish up.
Yeah, so
let
when
me
we're
finish
done with
up.
this part, she's just gonna give you a quick overview, and that would be about the
Okay,
interviews.
let me finish up with just the mission. Let me just finish up really quickly with the subcommittee meeting schedules. So, Janelle, back to you really quickly. Joe, you've mentioned you're not getting the emails. Janelle, you mentioned that the 8th, August 14th,
I
Monday.
proposed Monday the 14th as a
Monday the
kickoff.
14th, 8th of August, August 14th on Monday. With your group here, do you want to you guys just want to get a general consensus and agreement
okay with me.
that the dates,
Yeah.
that date and that time? What, are you proposing a particular time?
I said the evening.
To
So.
6:30?
9, 10.
Yeah.
Well, but, Block Streets closes.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock? It's up to you, Janelle. That's your
Seconded, Jen. No, I'm the chair. So yeah, 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So Monday, I'm just gonna make a note. Amy, you wanna make a note of that too? Monday, 8/14, 7 p.m. Perfect. So now that just leaves us with the rest of the subcommittees. Housing and Economic Development. Mr. Elmore, have you had an opportunity?
Not yet, I got work to do, but while we got everyone here, how about the 21st of August?
8/21, it's a Wednesday?
It's a Monday.
It's a
Monday.
Monday, so 8/21, Monday. So that goes to Rick and to Kobe.
I can do before 6:30. How about you, Rick?
6:30?
Or after 8?
I look good. Okay.
What time works for you? Could you do it before?
Before 6:30 or after 8?
Is there
For-
a planning board meeting that
Would
night?
5 o'clock in the
There is a
afternoon work
planning
for
board
you?
I
meeting.
can do it usually afternoon, yeah.
5 o'clock?
Yeah, that's true. You have planning board.
There's a planning board meeting.
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
planning board
Oh, there's
meeting.
one that night?
Yeah.
That's 7, yeah, but that's at 7, correct?
So
Yeah,
Could you do a 5 o'clock subcommittee meeting?
yeah, we could do that.
All right.
Kobe?
yeah, or 5:30.
I'll be in touch with the location, so let's say 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Don't make it too far from here, because I don't want to do, walk.
Coming up the Roman.
I'll give you a Friday.
That's awesome. All right, Kobe, Community Services, Facilities and Circulation. We've got Erin, Janelle, and Ken. If you guys want to take some time now to set up a date, or if you want to reach out to them after tonight.
Janelle.
Here, if we can get a room.
You want to do the council chambers? It's probably a little easier.
I know it's all.
14th was just taken.
Correct.
Not to say that you can't do it in a different
We
room.
could. When do you guys go on the 14th?
They go on at 7.
I'm gonna go let Jen in, she's downstairs.
You
Oh,
could,
is she here?
Yeah, she says the door's locked.
Oh.
Can you do a 6 o'clock on the 14th?
Yeah, I just just want to get in, guys. I don't know how much is left of this meeting, but
We have a few minutes left.
Okay.
I can't.
What,
Do
you
6
want-
o'clock on the 14th?
I
Is
can
that
do
too
6
tight?
o'clock on the
I can do earlier on the 14th.
6
Yeah,
is okay?
yep.
Okay.
6 on the 14th only gives you an hour. Wait,
Do we want more than an hour?
because you're,
That's an
We're at
hour.
7.
I
you're
feel-
7. Gives you an hour.
I feel good about an hour.
An hour's good with you for your first initial meeting?
I feel pretty good about that.
Okay.
Should I not? I'm open to.
I don't know,
being
you-
told
No,
that I-
I mean.
You seem like an intense brainstormer.
If
Yeah.
you gotta leave, you can just
Yeah.
come up here.
I'm also.
Do we need extra time for
So,
those thoughts?
I don't love opening meetings in general, so I think an hour is
Okay.
good.
All right.
You
All right.
sure?
Fine by me.
You got a location on it?
So 8,
I'd say let's aim for here for the first one.
8:14 at 6 p.m.?
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on the council.
Because then we'll go right
Yeah,
to
we'll
the
just-
next.
Okay. Gino, over to you, my friend.
Okay.
We also picked the 21st.
Also the 21st?
Yeah, we didn't specify a time, but
Since they're at 5, do you want to meet at 6:30 or 7?
6:30, yeah.
So
That's
Mel,
fine.
where's Mel? Mel just stepped up. Eric, you okay with?
That's fine.
6:30? All right. Oh, wow, we're doing good here. So that leaves us, well, actually, I want to wait for Mel to come back. Sorry, Megan, I'll get to you in a second, but,
Mel has already, we talked about maybe the 8th, and Mel has already told me she's available.
the 8th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know if that works for you or not,
This-
Glenn.
I would just want to check with Mel. Sustainability,
Oh, sorry.
Gino and Eric, we're looking to do the 21st at 6.
Yeah, we already agreed. We all agreed on
You're all
that.
set?
Time, 6:30.
Perfect.
6:30? Yeah.
6:30. All right, Megan, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Sorry, I thought you were waiting for Mel for the 8th. We talked about possibly the 8th or the 17th. I don't know if one of
The
those
8th?
worked for you. I know for Rick and Mel, they were available for
Yeah,
both.
Either one's okay.
Take a peek, double check my calendar. That's August 8th?
Tuesday.
Actually, that works. Yeah, that's open. So
7
August.
7 p.m.
Sure.
Okay.
So 8 and 7. Wow.
Just also there's also 205 available, which is, since
Right.
that's a small room, like for small committees.
Right.
That's always available too.
Yep.
So it's
That's
use that.
actually, it's a great point.
Yeah,
It's a
you
great,
don't have
that's a
to-
great space. It's nice and small.
Yeah.
And for the smaller committees, that'll be a great place to
Mhm.
host the meetings too.
Yeah.
Where?
This
Right
room,
next
this
to the
building,
council
room two,
chamber.
this building, room 205.
It's right next to council chambers.
Yeah.
Can I get dibs on that now? For the 21st?
Yes. I need to book it. I'll just
Yeah.
have to make sure nobody's in it, but I can book it.
So, to the chairs of the various subcommittees, the only thing I want to request as part of ending off this last note on tonight's meeting is to reach out to Amy and CC me in the emails, please, noting that that you've spoken with your subcommittees, you've chosen a date, chosen a time, you just need to choose a location. She will need to book those locations so that we have it reserved, and then be certain to generate, and all the agenda needs to be is quite literally like we have here, just either 1, 2, or a few things just listed, and just forward those to Amy, what you want to have on the agenda. She'll generate the agenda, and we'll have it posted 48 hours to those dates. Fair enough? Question?
I just say as early as we can see even a draft of, the sort of proposed timeline, the better. The earlier the better, right?
Okay.
Being able to lay out the,
Mhm.
the whole few months worth.
Sure.
Excellent. Amy,
Yes.
Barrett's on.
So I've got Jill with Barrett
Hi, Jill.
on Zoom. She's just going to give a quick overview where they're at right now, how they're going to be moving forward with interviews. Some of you guys have gotten my emails to sign up for one. So she's just going to do a quick overview of that.
Hi, good evening. It's great to see everyone and hear everyone. Yes, so we are, in the data collection phase. It's basically the big chunk of it is the inventory and assessment is the big, phase that we're in after the town tour. And so the informational interviews are coming up. They'll be conducted via Zoom. They're scheduled for 4 dates in August, the 7th, the 9th, the 11th, and the 25th. There's a sign-up sheet available online that Amy just mentioned that she distributed to some of you. They're estimated, the timeframes for an hour, depending on the number of people in the group, they could go from 20 or 30 minutes, to that full hour. If for some reason the discussion seems like it needs to go on, we would likely then schedule a time to follow up or make a note to follow up with certain people in certain departments that we feel like there was more conversation to be had to gather some of the existing conditions data. And some of the things that also point us to the key issues in town come out of the informational interviews. A Zoom link will be sent to everybody closer to the interview date. I usually try and do that the morning of. It'd either be the night before or the morning of. The informational interviews are grouped by topics, mainly just so that we can hear, every topic kind of overlaps with each other in many ways. So we group them, betas doing circulation, which transportation, public facilities, and community services. So we have those categories grouped together so that beta can run those interviews and talk to folks that work or have expertise in those areas. The other grouping is land use and natural resources. Another one is economic development and housing. Then we have open space, recreation, cultural and historic resources together. And then we're not doing a separate one for sustainability. Sustainability questions are going to be incorporated to all the interviews because that's a cross-cutting topic. And even though it may be put in a separate chapter, which is all great and good, we're going to ask those questions in all the interviews to gather information related to sustainability. So we just encourage people that may be on boards or committees in positions that would be deemed to sign up for one of these informational interviews at this stage of the inventory and assessment process, to sign up for the one that meets your expertise the most, or if your schedule allows, people can sign up for more than one if they feel like that's something they would like to do, but they don't need to do it because the topics overlap and things can come up at one that's related to another. So it's basically an open discussion to kind of hear and learn about the town, and from there it kind of points us into deeper dives as we go along. Any questions?
I'll start with Jennifer.
Through the chair, so not everyone got an invite to these meetings? I didn't, what is the reasoning behind that? I'm just curious.
There's staff, so a lot of the head of staff
Okay.
was interviewed, and then as far as like board members, we just kind of targeted the chairpersons of the boards.
And then a follow-up question to that, there's obviously this master plan committee and there's staff, but then are you also targeting chairs of other boards or commissions, such as the historical commission, the disability commission, so there'll be representation from all of those different groups?
Not every
in
single
town?
board is, but even with staff, you have some of the staff members where like our building commissioner is also the ADA rep, so he also can answer some of those questions.
Mm-hmm.
We will have, I think we do have the planning board, I think with the ZBA on it as well. Historical we do, so it's kind of a cross mix of people. I mean, if there's somebody you want us to add, I most certainly will send out an invite.
I mean, I think it would be helpful to see the list, maybe, to identify if we think there's a gap.
It's on the drive.
They
on the drive.
do, yeah,
Just
they do
kidding.
have it listed.
Okay. What? It's on the drive, the
Yeah.
Google Drive. Sorry. Okay. Thanks.
And these are initial interviews. It's typical that a few months down the road, we might say, or might come to our attention that there's some organization or person that would be helpful to have a conversation with, and that can be scheduled, down the road. But we're trying to get as much, all the kind of most obvious ones, that contribute now. And then, but if anything comes up down the road, there's opportunity to have a conversation then.
Anyone else have questions? No? No further questions? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Very, very much appreciated. Just a quick recap before we bring the meeting to adjourn. Melanie and Erin, you both are gonna meet up or to discuss coming up with a brochure.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's great news. Everyone's comfortable with the times and dates that the subcommittee is gonna meet? Good. We were very successful at getting something accomplished tonight. Thank you for everyone's patience. I'm more than happy to take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Good job, everybody.